I'm so excited to share my first look at Samsung's brand new Android XR headset, which I tried during Google I/O this week, and yes, it's real. Samsung is back in XR, this time teaming up with Google on a new platform called Android XR, and that alone makes this comeback feel way more serious. I also had the chance to interview Justin Payne, product manager at Android XR, who shared some fascinating insights and juicy details into what they're building. We'll dive into all that in this video. This one's focused on the headset. I'll talk about the XR glasses in a separate video coming soon. Full disclosure, Google invited me to the event and covered travel, but they didn't ask me to make this video or tell me what to say. This is all me. And hey, if you don't know me, I'm Cass, and I've been reviewing XR headsets for about 8 years now. Subscribe to join me beyond reality. Right away, Samsung's headset feels like a direct response to the Vision Pro, but seems to be built with a more mainstream user in mind. It's a standalone headset, meaning no external PC needed, though it does connect to a power bank, much like Vision Pro. And yes, I confirmed it supports PC VR, which opens up extra use cases like Steam VR gaming, flat gaming, remote work, or even co-op style play with Gemini acting as your AI assistant, but more about that in a bit. Just a heads up, the hardware specs are not confirmed yet, so everything I'm sharing today is based on my hands-on impressions and could still change. Design-wise, the strap looks like a combo of a halo and a lead strap. It cups your forehead and back of your head, and you can adjust the fit with a dial on the back. You can also add forehead cushions to better match different head shapes and adjust the eye relief. The bonus, the strap is ponytail friendly, there's a dedicated gap for it, and there's deliberately no top strap, which can be great for not messing up your hair. The headset felt comfortable during my short demo. It felt well balanced, like it combined the best strap designs, and a lot of you were wondering if it's more comfortable than the Apple Vision Pro, which I think so, but of course the real test is extended wear, so I'll get back to you on this. One thing I appreciated was the open periphery design. It's not just aesthetics, it actually helps with motion comfort. Your brain easily tunes out the edges, but you still retain awareness of your environment. So if you're working, you can still see your keyboard, mouse, or walk around without feeling fully shut off. Plus, when in pass-through, the field of view will look bigger. If you want more focus, you can snap on the magnetic light blockers, similar to the Quest Pro, for a more closed-in view. These are not the final design colors, by the way, this could still change. I know it kind of resembles the Vision Pro, but just without Apple see-through display. It is packed with sensors. You'll find RGB pass-through cameras, depth sensors or sensor, though they could not tell me exactly what kind and how many. There are volt tracking cameras, which I assume are the ones for the inside-out tracking. At the bottom, there are 2 downward-facing cameras and a proximity sensor on the side of the strap. Eye tracking sensors are embedded behind the lenses, so it's almost invisible, and yes, it supports foveated rendering, so the system focuses processing power where you're actually looking. There's also an automatic IPD adjustment system that uses the eye tracking. It's calibrated almost instantly with just one button press, which is super convenient, especially if you want to share the headset with others without having to go through a full setup each time. You also find the buttons at the top, one of which is the quick access to launching Gemini, Google's AI assistant, and other shortcuts that aren't defined yet. Overall, the headset feels premium, especially the front, which seems made of high quality materials. That said, it also feels like something you really don't want to drop, not that I tested that yet. So why does this headset and this moment matter? First, this marks Samsung's return to standalone XR. Their last big attempt was Gear VR, which was basically just a phone docked into a headset shell. Then came the Odyssey, a PC VR headset that never quite took off, likely because it lacked strong software support. Now though, they're back with a purpose-built device and a full ecosystem, developed in close collaboration with Google and and Qualcomm, and that's what makes this launch genuinely exciting. It's also Google's first new Android vertical in over a decade and the first platform built entirely with Gemini AI in mind. That's already big, but what makes it even more promising is what Android XR could represent. Right now, most XR headsets feel like walled gardens. Apple's Apple only, Meta's mostly Meta, but Android XR takes a different approach. It's built on open XR standards, and talking to Justin Payne, the goal is clear: make it easy for developers to build ones and run anywhere. That means support for Unity, WebXR, and native Android apps all in one place. While these apps initially run as flat windows in XR, developers can easily make them immersive using Google's APIs. But the real magic: AI is so good now that Gemini can spatialize apps automatically, which means transforming traditional 2D interfaces into spatial experiences, so there's no redesign needed. I'll share an example of that from my demo in just a moment. But this is something XR has needed for years: a shared ecosystem. Imagine installing an app and knowing it will work across headsets from different brands. That's the long-term vision. And it's not just great for developers, for users like you and I, it could mean broader access to content and tools right out of the box. Justin even mentioned that he's already using the headset daily for real work. The point is, it's not just concept videos, it's already happening. So yeah, I'm excited, cautiously but genuinely. My hands-on time with the Samsung Android XR headset was short, just about 10 minutes, but it was enough to see how far they've come. Android XR supports multimodal input, which means you can use your hands, eyes, and voice to control things. In my demo, eye tracking calibrated quickly, and I could use my eyes to point at things. To select something, I'd move a laser pointer with my hand and then pinch my fingers to click. I could summon the main menu by turning my palm up and pinching, which opened a floating spatial menu with familiar Android apps like the Play Store, Photos, Maps, Google Drive apps, and YouTube, you name it. I had the ability to launch multiple apps and fix their windows in my environment. I'm not sure what the limit is right now, but I could pin several screens wherever I wanted in the space and resize them, small, large, whatever I needed. I started by watching some videos on YouTube, and visually it looked great. I'm guessing it uses OLED. I think the rumors are micro OLED or something similar, but that's just a guess since they haven't confirmed the display tech yet. The blacks were deep, colors looked vibrant, and text was sharp. The only thing that stood out was the brightness, which felt a bit low, and the pass-through view, what you see of the real world through the cameras, looked a bit grainy and off in color. But those are things that can probably be improved with software updates. Now, motion in mixed reality felt smooth, and I could walk around freely without noticeable latency. Depth felt right, and it tracked the area well. But the real standout was Gemini. Once you give it permission to view what you're seeing, Gemini becomes a context-aware AI assistant. It can actually tell you information about things you're looking at in real life, whether that's a landmark, a product, or something in your environment. Like, I was looking at a crowd and it would just describe the crowd. I think that was one of the most interesting parts for me. I also asked, can you take me to Rotterdam, my hometown? And it did. It launched Google Maps for me, dropped me into the correct spot, and when I switched to Street View, I was looking at like a building in front of me, and Gemini gave me information about it almost immediately. That moment was a bit of a wow. It wasn't just launching apps, it was understanding my context and responding to it. It felt personal. And because this is Google, if you're already using things like Gmail, Maps, Calendar, or YouTube, the headset might just feel like a natural extension of how you already live digitally. Speaking of YouTube, I watched a flat video get spatialized in real time. Gemini added depth using AI, and it looked surprisingly good. Even better, it works with your own content, so you can take old photos or videos and turn them into more immersive spatial memories. So it's not just about new XR content, it's also about reviving what you already have and bringing it into a new dimension. Yes, much like what the Vision Pro offers, but this time it's coming from Google. Now, one moment that really stuck with me, my demo guy explained that you can mirror your PC, play games, and have Gemini assist you live. Imagine being stuck in a game that you're playing inside the headset, then asking Gemini for help, and it pulls up a walkthrough video right next to your gaming screen. That's collaborative computing, XR, AI, and desktop working together. I mean, it's really awesome, guys. Now, as for field of view, felt pretty standard, nothing huge, but not extremely disappointing either. Hand tracking worked fine when my hands were in front of me, but didn't always register when they were lower or around the sides of my body. It even drifted a little at times, but to be fair, we were outside and bright sunlight could make it tricky. Then the headset will support controllers as well, but I didn't get to try them. Keep in mind, none of this is final. The hardware is close to finished, but the team told me there may still be small tweaks and the software is gonna evolve fast. At this point, what really matters is how Android XR fits into the current XR landscape and what it could offer that others don't. Meta still dominates consumer standalone XR with Quest. Apple is going all in on premium with the Vision Pro, which runs on their custom M2 plus R1 chip combo, arguably the most advanced XR chip setup available today. By comparison, the Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2, which is expected to power the Samsung XR headset, is a solid mobile chipset, but it's not on the same level in terms of raw performance. What that means for real-world use, we'll have to wait and see once the device is final. So Android XR probably sits somewhere in between, more open than Apple, potentially more ahead than Meta, especially if AI becomes a core part of the experience. What's promising is that Android XR isn't just another headset OS, it's built to scale, to support multiple manufacturers, and if it gets the right content support, it could become a real third pillar in the XR space. There's also an interesting possibility here, since Quest headsets run on a version of Android 2, porting games or apps from Quest to Android XR might be relatively easy for developers. That could give the platform a head start with content, assuming developers see a reason to support it. But ease of porting alone won't be enough. What Android XR also needs is strong content investment, not just ports, but experiences built for this platform, especially ones that tap into Gemini, spatial tools, and AI-powered interactions. If Samsung and Google can deliver on that and make the hardware somewhat affordable, then this could be a true contender, not just another tech experiment. But that's all I've got for now. It was just a quick look, but I think I shared a lot, so leave me a like if you enjoyed this. Since the headset isn't final yet, I'm keeping expectations realistic, but honestly, this feels like one of the most serious XR moves we've seen in a while. We're still waiting on the big stuff like price, specs, and release timing, which should come end of this year. I'll definitely follow up once we know more. I'll also be at AWE in 2 weeks where I'll get more hands-on time with the headset, so if you've got questions or things you want me to test, drop them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next videos. I'll be covering the Android XR glasses too, and those surprised me in a totally different way.